Hello, Mike. How are you doing, mate?
Oh, good, mate. Good.
Good, good. So, how did you enjoy your experience on Fight Island? Because obviously you fought there a couple of months ago.
Yeah, Fight Island was really good. You know what I mean? It was great to be on there. Probably 100 fighters in the UFC who'd possibly been on that island. So, I mean, for me to be on it and fight on it was amazing for me. Yeah, it was class.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, the result weren't what you wanted, but I spoke to Tom Aspinall after he came back from Fight Island, and he was saying, like, obviously, because you fought on the same card as Till and Tom Aspinall, so it was like all your boys out there at once. I bet it just felt like a holiday, really, didn't it?
I mean, yeah, the atmosphere was always good. You know what I mean? And leading up to the fight, the camp was great. You know, like you said, not the result that I wanted and possibly probably Till wanted, but
Hmm.
Tom come back with the win. But the team bar was good. Yeah, it made it better for us all.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. And obviously, with your fight, you lost your fight, but you had a good first round, and like you was doing well. You had a couple of takedowns and that. You got him in a really tight dash choke at one point. How tight was that dash choke? How did it feel?
Yeah, I mean,
Because it looked.
I've looked back on the video and whatever. It was tight, yeah, it was definitely tight, um, and it probably would have finished 90% of the people,
Hmm.
But that kid was willing to go to. He was just a tough Russian, you know what I mean, and we all know that the tough people. So he was willing to go to sleep, and he said that in one of his interviews afterwards. But yeah, there was one point through the chalk when I had the chalk on, and I thought, yeah, this is on this, you know what I mean, and I heard him. He was gargling. He was definitely on his last breath when he got out of that. So I cranked it a little bit more, or I cranked it, kind of changed the chalk a little bit, I suppose, which probably maybe helped him get out a bit as well. There was a couple of mistakes I did make. I went short on the chalk, on the dash chalk, rather than grab my bicep, I grabbed my forearm, just because he was doing the right things from the second I fed my arm through. So he was doing the. He was definitely practiced it. He practiced it before the fight. He practiced getting out defending it and stuff. So what he did was right, and hats off to him. He got the win and he got out of the chalk. I mean, it could have been an easy night. I couldn't for me if I got that chalk.
Yeah, yeah. It was a mix of both, wasn't it? If you got that choke, it would have been a quick night for you. And then obviously, as we saw, you got out with that choke, and then the fight went on as it did. At the end of the first round, he caught you with a good right hand as well, and I'm pretty sure like it busted your eye up. And like I said, when I spoke to Tom before, he actually mentioned you couldn't see. So when exactly did that happen in the fight? Was it like when he hit your eye after it, or was it a progression through the round sort of thing?
Yeah. So I mean, I've watched the back. It took me a week, but I watched the fight back. You know what I mean? It took me a week to sulk and get over it.
Yeah.
But I watched the fight back. I remember bits of the fight, and I remember a certain part where I took him down, and I remember him just little punches in the side of the face, and I remember him thinking, they're affecting me. Then they hurt, and I didn't know why because they never used it. And you don't really bother you, and so that's why I went back on the video and I rewind back to the bit where I took him down that area. Anyway, I think I actually did my jaw in the first minute when I took him down. I think I've banged my jaw on his hip or his knee or something on the way in because I had a dint in the side of my head when I was on the ground with him, and he was clipping me in the side of the jaw. So I knew it hurt. But then, yeah, towards the end of like about 2 minutes towards the end of the round, he caught me with a right hand as I kicked. I did a left kick to the body, and he threw a right hand, and I think that's finished my jaw off really and broke it. But yeah, it affected my vision a lot. If you look back on the fight after every round, I'd stand in the middle of the cage and wait for my coach to come and get me because I didn't know where my corner was. That's how much it affected. It was really blurry, really. But I mean, I can't go on about it because I don't want to look like I'm making excuses. You know what I mean? So, but it's what really happened. So I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah, of course, of course. We understand that you don't want to make excuses because that's not what you're here for. We get that, but
No.
at the end of the day, like you said, you can't expect to fight the same with one eye than you can with two.
Yeah, it affected I mean, later on in the second and the third round, I did manage to take him down and he managed to get up, but my attacks were just a little far away. And it was just due to my vision, really. I think that it was just like a blur in front
Yeah.
of me sometimes.
Did that affect you?
But I mean,
Sorry, Karen.
Well,
Did that affect you mentally sometimes? Like not being able to see properly and that.
yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, it was a changing point in the fight. I mean, I would, looking back on the rounds, I would have given that first round to me, even though he caught me with a shot towards the end of it. Do you know what I mean? I was dominant before that, or I took him down, I'd almost finished him, and so I give that first round to me. Then obviously, once I was struggling with vision and my jaw. It definitely changed in the second and the third. But I didn't tell my coach, about my jaw. I thought it was like, I mean, I thought it was like, to me, it was like psychologically, I was telling the world that I had a broken jaw and I could barely see. So at the time, it was like, I'm telling the world that this is why I've lost. If I lose this fight, it gives myself an excuse in my own head. Then if I lose this fight, then I've lost it because I broke my jaw and my vision's bad. So I just didn't want that. So I just didn't tell him. I think he knew there was something wrong, right? But I just didn't tell him because of that, really.
Yeah.
I was still going to carry on always, so was there any point saying anything?
Not really, no, not if you're going to carry on. And obviously, it's not going to affect your mindset. You're always going to come forward and fight, aren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and obviously, like saying about your coach, Colin, I love his work in the corners, like with all the fighters that he's with, like Till, Darren, and everyone else. He does do great work. He is like, I think it was between the second and the third round, he was telling you things like, you've basically just got to go out there, win me this round. Like, you've got 5 minutes, ain't you? Just telling you what you need to do, clear as day. Like, you can go out there and do what you need to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, so that, I remember that bit. Obviously, we thought I was a round up. He was around and I was around then. So the last one was kind of the decider. So yeah, he is really good in the corners. Colin's like, he's very intelligent. He doesn't really speak on maybe too much. It's hard to get an interview with Colin, but when he says something, it really means something, and he's very intelligent with the fight game. He's done it for a long time, and he's a guy who definitely knows. You gain an much more confidence with him being in your corner because how good he is.
Yeah. I think I've heard Till say something about him before, where he's like, can't remember exactly what it was, but he was saying something about, like, I would never tell Colin I don't want to do that, or I'm not going to do that, sort of thing.
No, you wouldn't. That's. I mean, although we're definitely, everyone's scared of him, but we obviously have a lot of respect for him as well, and that's why we listen to what he's got to say, and we would never go against whatever he tells us to do either.
Yeah, that's great. That's what you need with a coach, obviously, because like some people just have a coach as a coach, but when you've got that extra bit of like sort of family sort of vibe off it, you do get an extra motivation. Like you say, you have that more confidence that that person is in your corner.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, you get extra confidence from being there.
Yeah, and obviously, in regards to fighting again, when do you want to get back in there?
I'm ready to get going. You know what I mean? I've physically right now with my jaw. I had my operation probably 9 weeks ago now, maybe 10. I don't know, but I'll have to check that. But I had my operation about 9 weeks ago, and they said I'll be ready. I'll be ready fitness wise and ready to go probably at the end of November, early December. I've told the UFC that now, so I just want them to get me a fight now because I'm just getting agitated. And I'm in a little bit. I'm in between. I really want to fight, and just get out there and get a few fights under my belt because it's just been stop start a little bit for me, and that's what's been really frustrating. I was supposed to, obviously I fought in London, a good debut, and then I was supposed to fight Movsar in China, and then I got an injury for that, and then they put me off till the year after, so which was supposed to be March. Then I was supposed to fight Macron, then the pandemic hit us and I couldn't fight. So then obviously I've just fought Movsar now, so I just want to get another fight in before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then again early next year, I want to just be racking them in now.
Yeah. So if you want to get it in before the end of the year, that's probably going to be in Vegas, then, isn't
it? That's what it seems like the shows are going after this Fight Island, I think. But yeah, you've got to get. I've not got my American visa and stuff like that, so I need to.
Harder.
It makes it a little bit harder, yeah. So hopefully, we can get something going. I'll speak to my coach and that today.
Yeah. And obviously, you mentioned, I think it was on your post the other day, that you want to fight Makwan again. Well, want to get booked against Makwan again. Was there any talks about that or any contract sent before? Because you mentioned you was going to fight him.
Yeah, I was supposed to fight him in March in London. And obviously because of the pandemic, we couldn't fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a fight that I think stylistically very good for the fans, for me. We're both good wrestlers. It's whoever gets the dominant position first, I think.
Yeah.
He's definitely a fight I do want to fight, yeah. He just lost to Barbosa now, which I think Barbosa's ranked quite high, so, and then he was off the win before it. Whether it happened now, I don't know. But there is someone else who impressed me on the island recently on term show was Tom. I can't remember his name, He was just before Tom, the featherweight. He's quite strong, jiu-jitsu black belt, I think he was. He won the fight.
The one that beat Yusuf Salah.
That's his. Yeah, he's Georgian Spanish.
Yeah. I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, I think his debut.
Yeah, it was.
But looking at him, I thought he was quite impressive, and I think me and him would make another good stylistic match. He has similar chokes to me.
Mm-hmm.
Takedowns are as good as mine, but I think me and him would make a good match as well. Yeah,
you like going for the undefeated fighters, don't you? Because I'm pretty sure he's undefeated.
I don't mind that. I'm very confident. Although I won't shout and scream it, I'm very confident in my own ability, really.
Mm-hmm.
Even
no, that's good. You've got to be confident in your own ability. Got to be. And obviously, going into your last fight, you was on a 10-fight win streak. So that's part of where the confidence comes from as well.
Yeah. It's 5 or 6 years I was unbeaten and a 10-fight winning streak with quite a few finishes in that as well. And mm-hmm. I had a few people who probably wasn't up to my standard, really. Not great fighters, but before I got in the UFC, I went to Brazil and fought a guy who was in the UFC. He fought Gray Maynard and people like that. So, and I beat him. And I went to Shuto and I beat the 2weight world champion there. So I didn't fight people who was crap, So yeah, I was obviously very confident with my record, and I was 10 fight winning streak.
Yeah. And obviously training, we mentioned it before, you're driving like an hour, 45 minutes to go train at Team Kaobon with Colin, Darren Till, Tom Aspinall. I'm sure you can name many other names. What is it like for you training there? Because obviously it's like I just said, a long drive for you, but it's worth the drive for you. So why do you do it?
It's what I've always done. I'm a very loyal person. One, it's the best gym in the world in my eyes. But I went to Team Kaobon. I don't even know what year it was. Probably like 2009 or something, 2008, 2009. And it was to train with Terry Ettim, because Terry Ettim was fighting in the UFC. And I think it was his second or his third fight in the UFC. He was fighting against a wrestler. Can't remember the guy's name, but he was against a wrestler. And I went down. I got asked by a wrestling coach to go down and help him, really, just to wrestle him and stuff. So that's why I went there. And then I started just trying a bit of jiu-jitsu after the wrestling class and started trying a bit of Thai boxing and stuff. And Colin said, would you ever try it? And I said, yeah, but my first goal is to go to the 2012 Olympics. And I wanted to be an Olympian, and I wanted to wrestle for my country and stuff. So, but I ended up going, finishing wrestling in 2010 after the Commonwealth Games and going fighting then. So I've always been there, and like I say, I'm a very, very loyal person, and Colin showed me everything I've known with him fighting from day one, and that's why, really. So one, through loyalty, two, because it's the best gym in the world.
Yeah, that's great. And what's it like training with like the likes of Till and Aspinall?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, there's never a dull moment when Till's in the room.
Yeah.
He's always got banter. He's always taking the piss out of someone, usually because of my baldy hair or something like that. But
yeah, I've seen on the Instagram you were doing them face swap videos with him.
Yeah, he started it. He always starts it, but then I'll retaliate. But yeah, he does get all the time. He's good at that. But yeah, training with them too. Yeah, it's good. It's a good laugh, and like I say, being on Fight Island with each other was good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we train hard. I don't think there's anyone who trains hard as us, really. That's why the results are coming.
Hmm. And obviously with Tom Aspinall, I've seen some things before where he's like saying that he likes to train with like the smaller people to obviously work on both sides, not just like spar with big heavyweights all the time and get hurt or whatever. So do you ever spar with him?
I have done, yeah. Yeah, I've sparred him a few times. Right now, I mean, he's got a couple of heavyweights in the gym, so he doesn't really need to spar with the small ones too much. But yeah, I wrestled him. I wrestled him before he went to this stuff. So we'll have a good wrestle. But Tom's just as fast as a lightweight. Do you know what I mean? So it's just the same. He's fast. He's technical. So yeah, it's a tough round for anyone, even the light ones.
Yeah, I was editing a video not long ago, and it's like of his first fight against Jake Collier, and I was trying to find a slow-mo version of like the 1-2 he did, but I couldn't find one because it's just so quick. It's literally just like bam bam.
His one motion's still fast, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so fast.
I think that's what's going to make him the champion. Do you know what I mean? I've not watched the heavyweight really who's as fast as him. Do you know what I mean? Even the champion Stipe now and people and Cormier's just retired and stuff like that. I'm watching all the heavyweights and I don't see anyone who's fast as him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. One thing that I will say about that though is there's like a lot of like Tom's obviously not a heavyweight, like a proper heavyweight, and there's a lot of other people like that. Chris Dakauskas, I think his name is. He fought on the weekend as well. He had a good knockout, and he's got like he's pretty similar to Tom. He's got a lot good combinations, fast hands and stuff like that. Yeah,
I think I heard it. I think he's a black belt on the ground as well, is he?
I'm not too sure to be honest, but that would be good as well.
Obviously, I mean that's two heavyweight prospects. I think. I mean, I don't know if they'll match up just yet, but eventually that'll be a nice fight. And obviously, I believe in Tom. I think Tom will take that fight.
Mm-hmm.
At the weekend, he got a quick knockout. But yeah, I only see Tom winning that as well.
Yeah, I like Tom really a lot because he's like, from speaking to him myself and watching other interviews that he's done, he's got a great mindset for like what he wants to do. Like he's always known what he wanted to do, but he's never pushed himself too hard. Like in the sense that he's not going to rush himself to get there.
No, he doesn't need to. For a heavyweight, he's young and he's on a good winning streak right now. You know, I mean, he's got a lot of hype behind him since his last two fights. You know, 2 good finishes. So he doesn't really need to rush. I mean, like I said, for a heavyweight, he's still young. He said himself in the cage the other day. He said he's got probably 10 years left if he wants to, and he's got a good background in boxing as well because of who he's trained with, Tyson Fury and Yui Fury and people like that. So yeah, he's got it at all angles really. Yeah,
and obviously he's trained jiu-jitsu since he was young as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, that was the first thing I think he did. His dad's a black belt, you know, so his dad's got a lot of knowledge, and his dad's put a lot of time and effort, Tom, from a young age, and built him up to the monster he is right now. So, he's a black belt on the ground. Tom actually wrestled as well before when he was doing jiu-jitsu. He did a bit of wrestling, but he was always wrestling. And with wrestling in this country, you know, you're always kind of wrestling the same kids when you're at a younger age because there's just not many wrestlers around. So he was always wrestling the same couple of kids and winning really easy, quite comfortably. So I think might have put him off a little bit. Went more in jiu-jitsu and then now he's obviously very good at boxing as well. So he's just a dangerous man. Yeah,
all round dangerous. So that's all the questions I got for you. I just got one more about a post that you did the other day. I see this how it started, how it's going sort of thing. You did one with your son.
Yeah.
And obviously he's getting into wrestling like since he was young. And how is it going with him now?
Yeah, so Jack, he's very talented. I mean, he started wrestling when he was 4. I mean, he's always seen me compete and train and whatever. He's always been on the side of the mats doing forward rolls and doing bear crawls and stuff like that when he's been watching me. So he's been on the mat since he was born, that lad. So and then when he got to 10-year-old, when he was 10-year-old, we took on Team Kaobon Wigan here. So we like franchised it from Colin, and he started doing all the mixed martial arts then, and he just took to it really well. Obviously, he had a wrestling background, good jiu-jitsu. He's competed in a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, and he's going to be a prospect for the future. During lockdown, he trained with us in Liverpool. He did all my camp for Movsar. You know, I had a few sparring with him, and he's doing well. He's going to be good.
Yeah, that's great for him to have everyone around him like you lot.
Yeah, he's training in Liverpool for a 15-year-old. He's still at school. He's got another year left yet. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, to train with like Darren Till, Tom, me, and all the other bantamweight lads. There's a lot of bantamweights who's coming through, who's good as well. So you got a chance to train with all them, and to see where he's at now, and also do a good 8 weeks training full time, where he can see if he actually does want to do it when he leaves school, when he gets a little bit older, and he says he does.
Yeah.
But we've actually got a wrestling match when he turns 18. When he was 9-year-old, we made an agreement. We said because he was giving me a bit of shit really when he was 9. I'd just got bronze in the Commonwealth Games, and he says, "Dad, I'll get a gold." And so we had a bit of banter back and forward. I says, "All right, we'll make an agreement." I says, "When you turn 18, we'll have a wrestle." So we've got that match going on in probably 3 years' time now. Probably a bit about that 70 kilogram now, and he's only 15, so he might be heavier.
Yeah. I have to put some weight on for that one then.
Yeah.
Anyway, mate, that's it. That's all I got for you.
All right, mate.
Thanks for coming in.
No problem, thank you.
Right, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon, mate.